Okay, good evening and welcome to Iyun to Lean On, part of Yeshiva YouTube. Shulchan Aruch Yomi. We're doing Siman Kufay and Ches 178. Talking about Shinoi Makom, changing your place. Hilchah Shabbos. It's relevant Shinoi Makom in terms of Kiddush Makom Suda. You're supposed to have the Kiddush in the place where you eat the meal. Here it's relevant to making a bracha, a new bracha. According to the Rambam, if I go from one room of my house to another room of my house, I didn't have in mind to go to the other room of my house, I have to make a birkas hamazon, doesn't mean bread. I have to make a birkas hamazon before I leave that house. Or if I left, right, I have to come back, make a birkas hamazon. Now, when I resume eating, I have to wash and make a new birkas hamotzi, according to the Rambam. According to the Rush, you don't have to do that. According to the Rush, you don't have to do that. And the only time you'd have to make a bracha is if you're eating something with shahakal and you left your house. From room to room, according to the Rush, is not a problem. And also it's not a problem if you're eating, according to the Rush, if you're eating things which are ton bracham and komon, like bread or cake or something like that, where normally you have to go back to your place to make al michya, to make birkas hamazon. So therefore it establishes your place where you are. And even if I go to a different room, right, or even if I go outside, I'm outside my house, not under the same roof, and I come back, I don't have to make a new bracha, even a bracha rishon, and certainly not a bracha achrona. And also, according to the Rush, even if, right, I went out of my house, right, and I wasn't eating bread, I was eating candy or something like that, all I would have to do is make a bracha to the bracha rishona. I wouldn't have to make a bracha l'mafreya. So it seems the Rambam and the Rush are arguing. We try to accommodate both shitas. We pass like the Rush and Tosfos that we're making over here. But clearly you're not supposed to leave your place unless you had in mind to leave your place, and it's to go to one room to another room. So it seems that the stringencies of both we're trying to follow. It seems it's a machlokas. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's a machlokas. I just envision these two types of cases. For example, and I think that the post can mention something like this, that if you're going in a restaurant, right? You go out to a restaurant. When you go out to a restaurant, they sit you down in a nice table. You have a waiter, a fancy restaurant, you have a waiter. You're not moving over there. You're not going to any different room to order, the counter even to order. The waiter is coming to you, the waitresses are coming to you, and they're bringing you food, and you're not getting up, you're not going anywhere. So, or let's say you're at a wedding meal, a fancy meal. When you're at a fancy meal and there's waiters over there, so your makom is established by your table. People don't get up and go other places. So that's what the Rambam was talking about. The Rambam was talking about if there's a makom, shinu makom, you have to have a makom first. Right? You can make reservations. A place you can make reservations, right? You're reserving a place. That's what you're holding, a place over there. So when a place is significant, like a restaurant, like a wedding, where there's waiters and waitresses, so therefore that's your place. So if you leave your place, what the Rambam is saying, you leave your place, and if you don't have in mind to go to a different room, your meal is sort of over, because the normal circumstance is that you stay in your place to the end of the meal, right? If you go, think about it, even in a restaurant, right? I did this video, I was at Chosen Island in the Five Towns. Last time I was in America, a little more than a year ago. I went out with my wife to dinner, we went over there. And, they have two rooms there. They have the room downstairs, and they have a party room upstairs. There's no party, and so then it's just regular, seating over there for regular people. So I happened, it was full downstairs, so they sat us upstairs. So, check it out, my video where I actually faked my birthday party. I was 39 and a half at that point. I faked my 40th birthday party. I got them, to bring me a cake. I blew out the candle. I started going around to all the tables and telling all the people, it's my 40th birthday, what can you wish me? People are wishing me different things. One guy wished me a Rolls Royce. What I said? I wanted a Lamborghini or something. I was playing along with the guys. And then I got up afterwards and I said to all the people that had just wished me a happy 40th birthday, it's not my 40th birthday. It'll be my 40th birthday in 6 months from now, but it's not my 40th birthday now. I tricked you all. Haha. YouTube video. I didn't say YouTube video. But anyway, so the point is that if you go to a different place, they sit you either downstairs or you upstairs. Those different places. If they sit you downstairs, you're not going to go upstairs. They sit you upstairs, you're not going to go downstairs. That's your place. And when you're in a place like that, where your place is significant because people are bringing you the food, so then if you change rooms, you ended your meal and you have to make a bracha achrona and make a bracha rishona. The Rosh and Tosfos, right, are basically talking about a case where regular people are eating food and people get up all the time. You have a Shabbos meal People go into the kitchen, people go to the living room, if you have a dining room and a living room, they go to different rooms, they come back. It's not a formal place where you're sitting in one place, right? So if a person goes to the kitchen to get food, or they go to the bathroom, or they go or they go to the living room to talk or something like that in the middle of the meal, or after the soup, you go on the couch, you sit down, you read Mishpacha magazine, you talk about some stuff. So that's like a regular informal meal. An informal meal, there's no place. I mean, it happens to be you eat at the table, the dining room table, but you're not reserving a place over there. It's your house. So in that case, that's where the Russian Tosos make sense. That even if you didn't have in mind to go from one place to another place, one room to another room, you don't have to make a new bracha. You can resume eating without making a bracha. Because a lot of the poskim were asked this question. Or Yashav and Rosh Zalman were asked that a lot of cases, they were asked by people who don't go out to the restaurant. You're in your house and the wife goes to the kitchen. She's making a bracha according to the Rambam. You have to be careful not to do this. They said no, because even the Rambam agrees if you go to a different room in your house, so as long as you plan b'shas bracha to go to that house, to go to that room, it's not a problem. So, but most people don't plan unless you go to the bathroom. You're not planning. So they said that the stam das of people, the minhag now, the stam das of people is to go to any room in the house, even if they don't have it in mind. It's like they had it in mind, but they didn't have it in mind. According to the Rambam, you have to have it in mind. So my answer is like they're right. Rav Yashav and Rosh Hashanah are right, but they're right for a different reason. They're right because it's an informal meal, and therefore there's no makom. It's not shinu makom. It's only shinu makom when you have a makom. When you're in a formal situation, you're at a wedding, you're at a fancy dinner, a gala dinner, fundraising dinner, or you're at a restaurant or something like that. So then there's shinu makom. Shinu makom doesn't apply in your house, right? If you would go outside, right, and therefore what? If you're kovei makom, you're eating bread or you're eating mazonos, or sit down, something significant to eat. Even if you leave your house, you don't have to make a new bracha. Because people walk around all the time, because it's informal. That's the nature, is people don't get up. Formal meals are not getting up so much. Informal meals, they get up. So that's what we're talking about. That's why it says the case of, even according to the Rambam, right, that if you have people sitting at a meal and they go to greet chassan and kala, why does the Gemara Pesachim pick that case? Right? Because it's talking about a wedding. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about a wedding where you have reserved seating at a certain place. And I believe it's talking about the good advice that people should give all the people spending too much money on weddings, is that if you want to cut back costs of weddings, don't invite 600 people to the meal, right? You have a small meal. I recommend personally have dancing in one place, and then after the dancing is over, to go to someone's house and have a private meal where the chassan and kala can actually eat something, and the family can enjoy it together. But even if you can have it in the same place, they'll have it in a different room over there, so no one will see you, and no one will come and you'll feel bad that you didn't invite them to the actual meal. So have it in a small room. So therefore, it talks about if you go up to dance with the chassan and kala, right? So if you leave people at your table, so the reservation is held. No one's going to take your table. But if your table is completely empty, everyone left, then your reservation is over, and you have to make a new bracha. So that's basically what it would be. So we're talking about two different scenarios. The Rambam was talking about a scenario where we're talking about where your makom is important, and there was shinu makom. And the Russian Toast was talking about regular cases where it's an informal meal. There's no shinu makom over there under normal circumstances. It's only a question of hesach hadas, right? Therefore, if you're eating something like chocolate and you go out of your house, that's a hesach hadas. That's your distraction. You're going out of your house. But if you're eating something which is significant like bread, so even if you go out of your house, it's not a problem. You can resume eating. But if you're eating chocolate and you go out of your house, so then you'd have to make a new bracha. But if you go to one room to another room, again, you wouldn't make a new bracha. That's the way I like to explain the machlokas, seeming machlokas, with Rambam and the Rosh. I don't know if the Rosh and the Rambam, the Rosh meant to say, oh, we're talking about this case, the Rambam said, I'm talking about this case. But I think la halacha, the Rambam and the Rosh shouldn't be arguing, and they should be talking about two different cases. I don't know exactly what the Rosh and the Rambam were thinking when they had this machlokas and explaining the Gemaras and explaining the different brises and the Gemaras, but that's the way I think is the correct understanding of these halachas. Hope you enjoyed it tonight. Cheers. See you in the next one.